This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Rudy Giuliani has been facing a series of bad news days the last few weeks, and yesterday was another one when a federal judge ruled that he has been found guilty of, just by default judgment, of defamation against those two election workers in Georgia that were defamed by Rudy Giuliani. Now, this wasn't heard before a jury, and that's one of the elements I want to talk about here, that it's because of his refusal to go through the normal, appropriate legal process and hand over the items that were subpoenaed. In the normal discovery process in a lawsuit, the defense is entitled to, and in this case, the plaintiffs are entitled to discovery of the evidence they seek for their case. And then in turn, he's also entitled to discovery to ask them for items of information. And he's refusing to do that. And that is the rub for me. That is the squeaky wheel here, is why. I believe, and I've said this before, that Rudy Giuliani in this case, there's more to risk of what they will find in discovery that will put him at risk in other cases. That there's more at risk in those other cases than there is for him in this particular case. Pointedly, his freedom in a criminal case. This is the headline from CNN. Giuliani loses defamation lawsuit from two Georgia election workers. A federal judge has determined that Rudy Giuliani has lost a defamation lawsuit from two Georgia election workers against him after he failed to provide information sought in subpoenas. The decision could lead to significant penalties for the former Donald Trump attorney. In court in recent weeks, Giuliani said he could no longer contest that he made false and defamatory statements about Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, who are only one group of plaintiffs suing him for defamation related to his work for Trump after the 2020 election. Giuliani said he struggled to maintain his own access to his electronic records, partly because of the cost, and didn't adequately respond to subpoenas for information from Moss and Freeman as the case moved forward. And then here, relative to what my theory was, that there's more danger in other cases than this case, this is what the judge said. Perhaps he has made the calculation that his overall litigation risks are minimized by not complying with his discovery obligations in this case, Judge Beryl Howell of the U.S. District Court in Washington, D.C. wrote Wednesday. Whatever the reason, obligations are case-specific, and withholding required discovery in this case has consequences. Now, the judge said that far better than I could have. Perhaps he has made the calculation that his overall litigation risks are minimized by not complying with the discovery obligations. That's a more precise language way to say that he's at far greater risk of what they're going to find out in discovery in other cases than in this. Because in this case, he faces thousands of dollars, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars in penalty for the defamation. But maybe if the case goes on because of damages, punitive and otherwise, it could be millions of dollars. Continuing with the article, the judge in the ruling Wednesday against Giuliani noted that the election workers could try to show his false claims about the 2020 election were intended in some part to enrich himself, an argument that may come up at the damages trial. Moss and Freeman are asking for unspecified damages after they say they suffered emotional and reputational harm, as well as having their safety put in danger after Giuliani singled them out when he made false claims of ballot tampering in Georgia after the 2020 election. A trial to determine the amount of damages for which Giuliani will be held liable will be set for later this year or early 2024, Howell said on Wednesday. So look, sometimes what is not said is the most important thing. Sometimes reading between the lines is going to get you to the truth, and I think that's what we're in a situation of here. That Rudy Giuliani, he knows, certainly his lawyers and those representing him, they know where the pitfalls are. They know where the landmines are. And that if this case, certainly a landmine, But if there's a more deadly one somewhere else, they're going to avoid that one. And they're avoiding those other deadly landmines by not allowing the information that was requested and is legally due to them, the plaintiffs in this case. Look, as time goes on and justice seems more and more certain to be served, that consequence seems more and more certain to be delivered, we should all rejoice. It is looking certain that Donald Trump is going to face consequences, whatever they may be. It is looking certain that Rudy Giuliani and his crimes against the country are going to be served with consequence. All of this is good. That finally, after spinning its wheels, the Department of Justice is finally late to the game, but getting it done. So the hat that I'm not wearing, I take off to you, DOJ. Anyway, what do you think about this? If you're in Georgia, what do you think? I mean, this really does have implications in the state of Georgia for these Trump people to deliver a consequence stiff enough to be a deterrent for this kind of thing to happen again. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. I'd love to hear from you. If you appreciate what I do, if I bring you value and you want to help support my work, click the join button below, see what's involved in becoming a channel member. For $2 a month, you can do so. You can also hit the super thanks button, or even better, go over to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. All those are great ways to help support the work we do here. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, all the social media. I'd love to see you there. And I will see you next time. You can guarantee that. Be genuine. Take care of one another.